Hi, everybody. Okay, this is week 2, even though you just got the last blog yesterday because I posted it late. So today we're talking about blind spot number 2, and that is feelings change our reality. And the blind spot is forgetting that or not being aware of it. And this is huge. Now, most of y'all are a slightly more mature crowd, which means that most of y'all know this on a personal level. You get it. You've experienced that when you wake up and stub your toe and go, oh, crap, I'm going to have a bad day. Then, of course, you have one, right? And so you've learned to affect your personal behavior and your personal responses to some degree. What you can't affect is that receiver's personal behavior, personal responses based on their level of maturity and awareness about their feelings. So again, there's yet another filtering going on between what we say and what others hear. And, let me stick to that for a second because there's some science behind this, right? I mean, cortisol goes crazy when we're in a place of fear or doubt, right? The minute that cortisol and a handful of other chemicals I can't pronounce kick in, then your prefrontal shuts down, right? And now you just can't really hear what the other person is saying because you just got alarms going off, just like that little tiger on the Serengeti, right? Your alarms are saying, run, hide, get away, this hurts. Somehow this hurts. Of course, this usually relates to a prior experience, but that's a whole nother conversation. So we get these blind spots about the fact that our feelings are influencing our thought process, and it really is physical and chemical that we become, to a great degree, incapable of sentiently responding, even hearing, much less responding to what others are saying. Now, here's something really interesting because it happens in cultures and not just individuals. And it's not always fear-based. Sometimes we get blind spots about our rightness, right? Like we talked about last week. I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. And then we get in a feeling of great confidence and great opinion about ourselves. And so that happy, confident perspective is now blinding our ability to hear and see the other's perspective. And so some great examples of that, IBM, they nearly collapsed, right? HP, Comcast, currently, anybody who works with Comcast knows that for about the last year, they've been going through this whole internal campaign to change their blind spot that they were the shiz, right? Now you call them, you can just rip one of these people apart and they're just going to take it and they're going to respond positively because they're going through a huge internal cultural shift that says, okay, there is competition. We are not the end-all be-all. And so we're going to have to listen to our customers, respond positively to our customers, and put action behind our words so that they start to shift their perspective of us, right? Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has lost big shares because they had determined that Pepsi could never, ever even remotely come near them. We could go on and on. So this is really all about blind spots on a personal level and a cultural level. It can infiltrate your company. What attitude do you guys show up with? I remember a couple of years back working with one of my clients, trying to figure out why his customer service wasn't up to the par that he knew his people wanted it to be and that he wanted it to be, but he knew was not happening because he was hiring secret shoppers and getting responses that weren't where he knew they could go. And so we did some investigation. We started learning about the value system that was living and breathing, not the one that was talked about. And what we learned was that his entire staff was absolutely convinced that their priority was speed. And this left them blind to being polite, being responsive, being in the moment as far as needs and feelings of their patients. And of course, when you're dealing with patients, a lot of times they don't feel very good, do they? So this was compounded by their blind spots at the moment because they felt like crap. So it was creating a really big rub. And so when, as a culture, we decided to realign that value system and the conversation to get those actions where they needed to be, we had to talk about how being fast was not the end game, how that was really valuable element that was in support of, but the primary objective and now the primary cultural conversation was going to be customer service, having the customer leave happy. That became the goal, having the customer leave happy. This created a whole shift in how everybody showed up for work, as you might well imagine. So we could go on and on about this stuff, but at any rate, I want you to just kind of remember that when you're listening and when you're speaking, you and they are having your feelings interpret what you think you hear on a regular basis. And this can really create the filters through which you're able to consume information. And of course, as well as your people. Okay, I'm going to send some supporting articles to go along with this, some from Judith and some from other sources. And I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much. Have a great day, week, month, and see you next time. You are perfect and amazing just the way you are. So keep being that way.